Okay, so let's try this again. Applause. Boo. So you jump in ahead. No, so wait. Ready? Boo. Okay, so without further ado, I have for you Bad Voltage. We have Jeremy Garcia, Stuart Langridge, and John O'Bacon here to provide, to the best of their ability, a great, great show. Let's hear it. Applause.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, Fulda.
How's everyone doing? That was shit. How's everyone doing? That's more like it.
That is more like it, right? The whole boo thing he told you about, fuck that. None of that. Right?
Forget that immediately.
Tarus Balog, he's here all week. So what do we start with? I guess the first thing we should start with is thanking OpenNMS.
Yes.
Give yourselves a round of applause, by the way.
Those of you who are not here as part of the OpenNMS conference, give them a round of applause because they flew us all the way out here. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes. Well done, the OpenNMS people. Thank you, Tarus. Thank you, everyone else involved in this. We hope you've had a good conference. It's apparently about networking. Not sure we understand it.
I also just a small shout out for these guys down here who travelled all the way from Belgium to get here.
They did.
Tonight, so.
Thank you very much.
Did anyone come from further than Belgium who wasn't coming anyway? Before Elan goes, I came from Los Angeles.
All right. So we should probably talk about that thing, right?
Yep, the Twitter wall.
How does it work?
If you tweet and mention Bad Voltage, either as a hashtag or @BadVoltage, it shows up on the wall. Now, we've done this in conferences in the past, and people have taken the opportunity to tweet abusive things about us, but I don't think you're going to do that.
I don't have anywhere near the same level of confidence that you do. One thing I would like to share with you in the interests of abuse is that if you include a picture in your tweet, it displays it on the screen. So knock yourselves out.
It does.
What else do we need to...
Right, well, there is one other thing. How many of you here have heard the show before?
Yeah.
Right. Excellent. Well, right, first of all, bloody well done for coming. We love you. But there are normally 4 of us. There's Stuart Langridge, John O'Bacon, Jeremy Garcia, and Brian Lunduke. Brian can't be... No cheers for Brian. Right?
He isn't here.
You'll observe he's not here, right? He
Finally
says
gets applause and he's not even here to enjoy it.
he'll be crushed, actually. But importantly, he couldn't be here because he's just had a very young child. In practice, as far as I can tell, his wife had a very young child, and he had very little to do with it. But we decided that if he couldn't be here in person, the 3 of us would make him be here in spirit. So we've gone through old recordings of his and old videos that he's done and previous Bad Voltage shows, and we've put together, can you unveil? The Brianatron. Shall we test out the Brianatron?
Do you want me to press it?
Test the Brianatron.
Yeah, but Canonical fucked that up.
Test the Brianatron again.
Duder.
Excellent.
Seems to work.
So we can now, at any point during this show, we can summon Brian's mostly useless opinion.
I think we should get on with it.
I think we should get on with it.
Come on, round of applause. This is how it works. You're all part of the recording now. So we want to talk about cybercrime. Recently, there was a pact made between the United States and China, who aren't traditionally friends, to basically stop hacking each other. And we saw this and we thought, bullshit. There is no chance that anyone is going to take any awareness or focus on that at all. And then we were talking in the pub the other day. What was it called? The Eck? Is that the place in Fulda?
It was the Eck.
The Eck. We like that place. In fact, we're going to the Eck after the show. So if you want to come and have a drink with us, we're going there. It's going to be a good time.
We will come back to Dieck later.
So we were saying, is there a way to actually stop cybercrime? I mean, we're always aware of people exploiting vulnerabilities in software, but is there actually a way to stop hacking at its tracks? Is there a way to stop it altogether? And we weren't sure about it. What do you think?
No, I mean, it's interesting because imagine you were the head of the NSA, right? And someone said to you, right, stop people being hacked. And there are no other rules. You don't have to care about, freedom or privacy or any of that boring shit. Just stop it happening. What would you do?
Least German thing ever right there.
That was very unimpressive in front of a German audience. Okay, carry on.
But it does seem a bit like what you do is essentially what we've seen, right? That you say, well, encryption, that's a bad idea. You need to ban that. I'm from the UK, and the...
Can you tell? Don't look at me, pal. I'm American.
You are not an American. Right? So in the UK, the government, David Cameron. Oh, the boo thing? Go. David Cameron. You people fucking rock. Excellent.
You people are puppets as well.
Dance, puppets, dance. They've started floating the idea maybe encryption should be illegal. Obviously, didn't go down brilliantly. But how do you actually stop this kind of crime from happening?
Does anyone have any ideas?
I mean, I'm interested in people's thoughts here. I mean, one way to take a similar example, if you want to stop people being murdered with guns, for example, you just make sure they haven't got any guns, and then it mostly solves that problem. And most countries, I think now, most modern countries have actually grasped that.
Really?
I was going to say you make it abundantly clear that you are not an American by this time. See, the one thing I don't like about cybercrime, even before that starts, is most cybercrimes to me are just crimes. They already existed as a crime, and they just tack the word cyber onto it. And that turns out it ends up having a lot of weird consequences because of that. Like they just gave an 8th grader a felony because he guessed his teacher's password and changed his wallpaper. And because test grades were stored on that computer, that was a felony because of a cybercrime law. That's a weird...
Hang on. What's a felony?
Yeah, what's the...
I don't know what that means.
If one person would know the UK equivalent, it would...
A felony is a crap crime, from what I can tell. That's a misdemeanor.
A misdemeanor is a low crime. A felony is like a serious prison crime.
Yeah, it's a proper crime.
You'll have a record as a felon.
It has just occurred to me, instead of asking John O'Bacon, noted legal jurist, we should have asked Mara, who's actually a lawyer.
We actually have a lawyer here. A crime punishable by prison for over a year.
Less than a year is a misdemeanor, over a year is a felony.
Oh,
and that's for changing the wallpaper.
Wow.
And I think
not even
laws end up with weird situations like that because I think we should take what are already good existing tested laws, and if you break them on a computer, it's still already a crime. If you break into a computer, that's already a crime. So what they're trying to do with cybercrime, I think, is mostly a bad idea.
The question is why didn't the kid change his grades?
I mean, going to prison for a year for changing wallpaper, I mean, not even GNOME shells that harsh, right?
Not yet.
Give it time.
So do we... Look, you're frankly all way better authorized at talking on this topic than any of us. Does anyone have any thoughts on... And our friend here, Ilan, by the way, one of the organizers of the
Big round of applause for Ilan.
This is Ilan's annual exercise. So, if anyone's got any ideas, how do you stop cybercrime?
I don't have an idea right off the top of my head how to stop it, but instead of punishing that kid, they should have actually awarded him for pointing out the stupidity of the teacher for choosing such a weak password.
Yeah.
Which brings us to one of the things which I think is kind of a preparatory step in order to at least diminish cybercrime to some extent, to make people more aware, or let's say technically more educated, the general public. I don't talk about nerds and geeks and all that because they usually all know that stuff, but kind of in, I don't know, kindergarten, preschool or whatever, just teach people good habits for the digital lifestyle, like proper passwords, how to change passwords, how frequently, and don't use password or God or.
And it turns out the password was the teacher's last name.
Yeah, I mean that's just stupid. I mean, like you learn how to write, how to calculate, how to draw stuff. You should in these days learn how to pick good passwords and know the reasoning behind that. I mean, it's not very technical. It's easy to explain for normal, non-technical people. So I think that should be part of the normal educational process. And then cybercrime would be not such a big thing if stuff like that, it's just one tiny piece, but stuff like that should happen.
So it sounds like what you're saying, Mirko Muller, graphics extraordinaire, is that you changed your grades as a kid. I
mean, I understand what you're saying, but I mean, to give an example, a friend of mine is a graphic designer, and his father-in-law runs his own little law practice, and this law practice picked up some kind of a network worm virus thing, and what it did was it encrypted the hard drive on their server and then sent them a message saying you have to pay 500 Bitcoin or something to this address to get the decryption key, right? He was properly upset about this, as you can imagine. At no point did he say, thank God that guy came to teach me about security. So I don't know whether... I understand that you start educating people young, and that's a good idea. Right? And an awful lot of this stuff is social engineering, right? It's people guessing passwords where you use your last name. But you can't fix everything that way.
We have a comment at the back, don't we?
Comment at the back.
The only way to reduce crime is to reduce the number of laws you have. You're never going to stop people being stupid. There are always going to be stupid people, and bad people will always break laws, so why have them? You're legislating people who don't do
You're
crime.
suggesting we should get rid of laws?
Yep.
If you get murdered tonight, lol.
Fair enough.
Harsh.
But, you know,
Harsh.
That was a joke, by the way. If he gets murdered tonight, it wasn't
the
me.
bad person from killing me. If the bad person wants to kill you, they're not going to go, oh, I want to kill tonight, but I'm not going to because, wow, there's a law. That doesn't happen.
It's a pretty extreme solution, though, that we get rid of laws.
It's pretty hot.
I didn't say we should get rid of all laws, just the number of legal...
Just the ones that make people criminals if they break them.
Just the ones that stop you doing your social engineering.
Did I misread the definition of the word law somewhere? Lawyer, are there any other kinds of laws? But no, I mean, I see your point.
But what do laws actually do? Who do they actually stop? Do they really stop the hardened criminals? No, we know they don't. In fact, they actually usually make things worse. Do they stop people being stupid? No, they don't. People are still going to be stupid. You need to do the social engineering without having the laws.
Right, okay, so imagine I accept that. That's an approach. But all you're doing there is you're saying these aren't cybercrimes anymore just because they're not crimes. We've still got the problem that someone can break into a database and steal my credit card number. Even if we don't call it a crime, I'd like it not to happen anyway. So how do we stop whatever this new thing is now we haven't got any laws?
But is there, outside of changing laws, is there a technical solution that we can think of that would either slow it down or entirely prevent it? I can't think of a technical solution to it because the definition of hacking...
Short of getting rid of every computer in every network.
Right. You can't remove laws and you can't remove computers, right?
Maybe...
You know who has had no input yet?
Gent at the back. Oh.
Yeah, whatever you guys think, that's fine.
Excellent, thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian. That was...
You are quite
I've
right.
forgotten about the button.
Brian agrees with us.
Hang on.
Oh, Stoobles. Stew. Daddy Pig. I love you.
Fuck you, Brian. We'll have less of that. Who put that in the list? Bastards. Right, sorry, jump at the back.
So it's exceedingly drastic, but there is always the option, turn off the internet. It would stop cybercrime, mostly.
I mean, there is a reasonable...
Are you guys dating?
No, I just work for him.
I'm choosing to believe you're all clapping because this guy said to turn off the internet, right? We'll go back to Novell IPX instead. That was wicked.
The button doesn't work.
I would rather catch my own hair on fire.
Yes, Brian. There it is.
That was appropriate.
I quite like the internet. I'd rather not turn off. It would work, certainly. And you occasionally see people make arguments like, ordinary people don't really need computers. You just need kind of a tablet on which you can consume, right? I'm assuming this audience is not particularly interested in that view, right?
So
that went well.
So how does that work? Like, now we have this cybercrime thing. What was before? Like, snail mail crime? Or
right, that's kind of what I was getting at earlier. It doesn't make sense, because to give you the example of the China-US, there was already A, laws, and B, kind of a norm between the countries of what was allowable with espionage and spying. So it's just a different kind of espionage. So all the other norms and laws we already had cover that. So to say, okay, here's how we've been spying on each other for the last 100 years, but now because a computer's involved, it's different. It's not different.
I think you said the other day when we were talking about it, hacking into a bank and stealing money is still bank robbery. It's just a different type of bank robbery,
correct.
Right?
Or at least that would be my assertion.
And no one's specifically trying to bring in rules to stop hammer crime. Right?
We should
stop hammer crime.
We should move on.
We should move on. Should we move on?
Go to community.bat. Oh, sorry.
No, don't say that.
Let's move this along.
All right, so now we are going to get to a part of the show where there's a little bit more audience participation. And what we're going to do, the name of the segment is Wrong in 60 Seconds. So we're going to choose 3 people from the crowd. You're going to get 60 seconds. You can rant about any topic you want in any language you would like. And we will pick the winner from the 3, and you'll get a Galaxy Tab S2 provided by OpenNMS and Tarus.
Thank you, OpenNMS.
It's actually quite a nice tablet. So if you're interested in participating, please stand up.
Stand up if you want to win.
Stand up if you want to shout about something and win a tablet.
Pick 3 quality topics, hopefully, and
if you want to rant for 60
give away a
seconds, stand up.
Oh,
you don't want a tablet?
Kenneth Weimer.
Are we really going to have no
stand
ranters?
up?
You've got 60 seconds. All you need to do is be angry for 60 seconds. If you don't do it, we're going to do it.
And we're going to win. So, Kenneth Weimer, stand up.
Go on, Weimer.
Yeah, there we go, number 1. Right? Don't start yet. At the moment, right, he works for Susie, and he's bald, and he's quite annoying, and he's a graphic designer, and he's got Brian on his t-shirt, and he's going to win the tablet because no one's going to stand up to challenge him. I believe you can do better than these people.
All right, who else wants to challenge him and potentially win a tablet? Wow.
Oh, wow, really?
Are you kidding me? You want to rant?
Can we nominate other people?
Sure.
Yeah, let's nominate other people. Who do you want to nominate?
We nominate Antonio Russo.
Yes!
All right. Where's Antonio?
Sounds like the motion has
There he
been
is.
seconded.
Okay, Antonio, proven ranter of the past.
There is a side bet going on here on the Twitter feed.
$5 so anyone who rants about
Jono. Busted.
All
Right. So Antonio is in, yes. Right, don't start yet. So we've got 2 people. Third person.
Non ho capito niente, comunque mi preoccupate, ce la farò.
Does anyone want to make $5? All right, we need one more ranter. You people are really happy people, aren't you?
I nominate Ian Norton.
Ooh. Maker of shitty antivirus, stand up. All right, Ian Norton, Antonio, Ken Weimer, get up to the stage, please.
Come on,
Yeah,
up
give a round
to
of
the
applause.
stage.
Come up this side.
Up this side, Ken.
All right. All right, you can stand. You can stay down there. You can stay down there. So why don't we move these chairs out of the way a little bit? Just so we've got a bit more room. Okay.
So, our first contestant.
Mr. Weimer, come up.
Kenneth Weimer.
Give him a round of applause.
Right on the stage, give him a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ken Weimer.
What do you want to rant about for 60 seconds?
I still don't know. I think you.
$5?
I was going to say, if you win, you get the tablet and $5 from Lunduk.
So look on that screen, okay? You're going to see a countdown in a minute, and then when it gets to, you'll see when, I'll tap you on the shoulder when you start ranting, you'll see it. If you are a second over 60 seconds, you're disqualified. Okay. And you got to get these people excited. You ready for him?
In 60 seconds.
Und Scheiß ist das, ich bin ganz so weit gefahren, um den Scheiß Brian zu sehen. Und jetzt stattdessen habe ich so ein glattköpfiger Arschloch Halbarmy vor mir, der irgendwie unbedingt fucking hier stehen will und so, ich bin wichtig, ich bin der junge Pinky. Oh, tata. Joe no or Joe yes, motherfucker. Weißt du, ich hab keinen Bock mehr. Du kommst hier mit deinem Gesicht und diese Geschmarri, was du da redest, es kotzt mich an. Ein halbvernünftiger Ami kannst du nicht hier einladen. Nein, der darf nicht kommen. Stattdessen muss ich deinen Scheiß anhören den ganzen Abend. Ja, so sieht es aus. Und dazu gibt's nur hessisches Bier, was so ein Scheiß. In Hessen machen sie kein Bier, das ist kein vernünftiges Bier. Du musst nach Franken kommen, wie es gehört. So, um weiterzugehen, würde ich vorschlagen, dass du nächstes Mal Brian einlädst und ein vernünftiges Bier holst, damit ich hier was trinken kann. Dankeschön.
Give it up again.
I have never wished I knew German more than the last 60 seconds.
I tell you what, I don't know a lot of German, but I know the word Scheiß, and I heard that quite a lot during that.
What was that Borat?
Right, okay. Our next contestant, Antonio Russo. Please step to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Antonio.
Oh, it's on! Yeah!
Here we go.
That escalated quickly.
Are you competitive?
No, I'm not.
What are you going to rant about?
What?
What are you going to shout about?
Tarus
Balog?
No.
Samsung Galaxy.
It's about Italian government.
I'm genuinely excited.
Wrong. In 60 seconds. I don't speak English. It's a tragedy. E dan parlo italiano. Ok. È veramente un casino, non riesco a vedere niente. Ho una moglie, 4 figli, mia suocera rincoglionita, mio padre peggio, un macello, una proprio idea, una tragedia. E che dire, Napoli è venuto proprio stanguaiata, una chiave, che non si può chiacchierare nessuna parte. È una città morta, quando ero guaglione si campava una bellezza, mezzo a vice stavano i mezzi pubblici e cose, ma non ci sta nessuno, parano un cimitero, Campusano, sapete che è Campusano? Non lo sai, È una cosa tragica, arriviamo tutti quanti a finire, prima o poi, non riesce mai a spiegare. E comunque un saluto affettuoso e datemi scarpe che mi servono, se non faccio mangiare tornare a casa. È chiaro? Saluti a tutti da Antonio e da noi.
3, 2, 1.
Non c'avevo un cazzo.
And there it is. Give it up for Antonio.
All right.
Have we got to Google Translate someone?
I never imagined people would describe our podcast as multicultural. All right, step up. Big round of applause.
Big round of applause for Ian.
All right, what's your name again?
My name's Ian Norton.
Ian, what are you gonna rant about?
I'm going to rant about something that's very close to my heart. Documentation.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You ready for Ian?
Wrong. In 60 seconds.
How many times have you gone to a piece of software's website, so popular monitoring product, say, and you've attempted to establish the features or implications of downloading and installing a piece of software? How many times have you gone, wouldn't it be wonderful if they just included some fucking screenshots or a feature list? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Or, just open source projects. It would be lovely, all of you, if you would just actually think about this and just add some details on, maybe some screenshots, summary of features, bits and pieces like that, so that somebody doesn't spend 2 hours downloading it, installing it, finding out what the requirements are, and then deciding actually doesn't do at all what you want. And you spend another 2 hours downloading another fucking package for a different fucking reason that doesn't do what you want again.
There it is.
Yeah. All right, so we get to vote now.
Those were all quite good.
We get to vote.
Considering no one wanted to volunteer, those were all very good.
They were very good. Give them all a round of applause.
Yeah, give them all a big round of applause.
So now the dilemma.
So,
who do we think has...
Who's your favourite?
Well, out of the three of them, we had some quality rant going on there, but anyone who manages to call Jono Scheisser 51 times in 60 seconds gets my vote, so I'm voting for Ken, person number one. Jono Bacon, who do you think?
My best friend of 15 years. I have to say, anyone who comes out and throws their shoes at the audience gets my vote. Antonio.
This is a tough one. Tempted to go with the fellow Italian, but the documentation guy, I think, pulled it together at the end. And
Ian?
Yeah. So...
we have a tie.
You didn't want to vote for number one, who was clearly the best.
He threw his fucking shoes at the audience.
No, I got it. Ask Brian.
Brian, hang on.
That is a good idea, actually. Tiebreaker.
Lock and load. Bring the rain. Jolly good.
Don't ask Brian.
That's not help.
That does not actually help.
Should we try it again? Hang on.
Oh, look, a pony.
That definitely didn't help. So we didn't account for this.
We did not.
Actually, no.
What?
Talk amongst yourselves. So,
well,
I reckon what we do is we get Jesse to do it. Yeah,
Jesse.
Right. So.
Yeah, Jesse's awesome.
So Jessie down here is our incredibly helpful helper. She'll be working with us all the way through this show. She's brilliant.
Yes.
And thank you very much. So big round of applause for Jessie, first of all.
Jesse, who was your favourite of the three ranters?
I feel like I have to go with Ian because OpenNMS needs documentation really bad.
Ian, come and get your tablet.
Ian, go and get your tablet. the other two of you, Ken and Antonio, if you come up as well, we have a little prize for them as well, don't we?
There you go, sir.
There you go. Thank you very much, Ian. Have we got a little badge thing?
You what? All right. So, Q&A time. This is very simple. You ask us questions, we'll answer them.
We got a bunch of people saying, well, how do we actually, say, do we send you emails and you answer them or whatever? And we do this kind of thing on the show quite a lot. And so we put the word out and said, think of questions you want to ask us or come along to Fulda and ask us there. And certainly Mirko Muller asked a question.
All right. So, Ilan, can you do the honours? Mirko, do you want to kick off? What was your question?
So my question was how to, kind of going back to the beginning of the show, which was kind of touching the topic already a little bit, how to get people become more educated in all terms of security matters, data privacy, the online digital life, and how to avoid people just all running in hordes to the Vibers, WhatsApp, and whatnot, not caring about any kind of encryption and just making everything they do on the net completely clear and easy to read for everybody who's just snooping into the net. So that's my question.
Jeremy.
I think part of the problem here, and one person on the stage is potentially guilty of this, it's not even educating people, it's getting them to care in the first place. And that's a really difficult component, and I don't have an answer. But I think we need to get people to care about privacy and understand how important it really is moving forward. And
you see,
in a place where everything's connected, and all of your data is everywhere. Understanding where that data lives and who has access to it and all that is massively important and completely underappreciated.
You see, I disagree. I think people
Imagine my surprise.
Thoroughly.
Much as I have been accused of leaving my tax returns in a shoebox on my desktop.
And leaving open source, lest we forget.
Shut up. I think people shouldn't have to care about privacy. What they should have to care about is that the applications that they use are enforcing privacy on their behalf. Most people in the world aren't like us in lots of different ways. We care about privacy. We care about the things that go... By the way, you people at the back outside the room, come in.
Come in. Why are you standing outside?
Don't just show up and drink our beer. Come and sit down.
So I'm assuming when you say we care about privacy, you mean Stuart and I. Just to clarify.
You see, I believe I am illustrative of the point. Possibly not in the way I intended. I don't care. I don't want to care about privacy. I want to make sure that when I use a piece of software, when I use a service, that my privacy is taken care of on my behalf. Because most people
So you want to trust every company to do what you would like them to do with your data, even when their financial motives are not aligned.
Well, it's
sensible defaults.
That's exactly the problem here. That if a company doesn't care about your privacy, they can make money off your data. Therefore, to have companies which do care about it, you have to give them some alternative incentive, right? Have you heard the thing where everyone doesn't do backups until they get burned once? And then everyone's really good about backups after that because you think, well, shit, I lost everything.
Do you lock your front door, or do you trust that no one should ever come in?
No, but I think that's a little different.
Backpedal.
I'm sorry, that doesn't count. I don't let you go with it. Because it's...
Fuck you.
Sorry, no, for me, this is the same principle. When I lock my door, when I leave my flat or my house, I should also as well take care of my digital data, whatever that may be. But the problem is it is not as abstract because everybody knows what a door is and how it works. But not everybody knows what kind of services the software they're using somewhere in the cloud are connected to and where they share the data, how they encrypt it, if they encrypt it.
You're a gentleman and a scholar. So.
And
I don't think people
and more importantly than that, right? Being honest, would you rather someone stole all of your photos or your sofa?
You've sat on my sofa, haven't you?
Yeah, it's not a very good sofa.
Probably the sofa, to be honest.
Well, no, but that's the point. Me personally, I value my digital stuff
quite
a lot more than all the random crap I've got lying around in the flat. But I think most people feel the same way. They just don't realise they feel the same way. So I think the education thing here is important, surely.
I'm broadly of the view that...
Ask anyone who got... You remember the phone hacking scandal?
Right.
Right, where the thing with celebrities' pictures being grabbed off them by newspapers. Ask any of them whether privacy is important. Because they've been burned once.
They wouldn't even say privacy is important. They would say they don't want their pictures stolen again.
Well, there's a difference.
People take a very narrow view of it.
Yeah, there's a difference there. There's a difference between taking precautions in taking care of your own data and someone actually hacking you, between actually having an awareness of privacy and making the right kind of choices. And I admit that this is an idealistic viewpoint, using the front door as the example, is I don't think I should have to care about locking my front door. I think it should lock itself when it should be locked. I'm not saying my door should be left open at night, but the perfect human interface is something that makes the right decisions on your behalf. So now, I'm not also suggesting that we shouldn't have a good set of kind of common sense approaches to how we take care of ourselves, because computers can't do everything for us.
I was going to say, until your own home locks you out because it decides it's sick of you.
But taking it along, my home should never ever lock me out because it should never make the wrong decision. And I think technology can get to a point where it never makes the wrong decision. But we're just not there yet.
Right, get Brian's input and then we'll have another question.
Next question. Next question. Oh, you want me to press this?
All right.
See what Brian thinks.
Oh, look, Jono's talking. Weird.
Least weird thing.
That was
ever.
badly timed. Thank you,
Not
Brian.
actually weird. Ciao at the back.
Yeah, I have a question that since you're outside and might bring skill to this mass of people, a lot of us have been worrying about for years. Do any of you guys know how to configure LinkedIn?
Say that again.
Do any of you three know how to configure linked and get a map up?
He's asking an OpenNMS question.
I have to admit with you, the only thing I know about OpenNMS is Tarus Balog. That's it. But now I know that you're very nice people as well.
You're all lovely. I know a lot more about OpenNMS than I did yesterday, but that's because I watched Tarus's keynote this morning.
That's just there's some very cool stuff in OpenNMS.
There is.
We would never use closed NMS.
No, closed NMS invited us to their rival conference and we didn't go.
But closed. So yeah, we know jack shit about OpenNMS.
On the other hand, closed NMS have got a conference done by Good Voltage, who are probably better than us. Okay, next question.
Next question. Question? Anyone? Gentleman down here.
Chap in the middle.
Who looks like the guy with the beard from Home Improvement.
Thanks. Since you are in Germany, I just wanted to get your take on the Volkswagen scandal that happened in the US. And I don't think you guys have really talked about it other than make jokes, but...
So we actually considered it as one of the segments, but couldn't distill it down enough to a 10 or 15 minute segment. I think what came out of it that's interesting, at least to me, and in talking about it yesterday, I don't know if these two guys agree, is that it made it clear to me that a lot of things that weren't software problems before are now software problems. Because that, in the end, that issue was a software issue, right? They said, basically, if connected to tests, lie. And 20 years ago even, that wouldn't even have been a possibility. And now that software is in everything. We have some, I think, regulatory and compliance, which I hate, but issues to probably sort through. So I think it's a really, really interesting issue.
That's not a software issue, though. That's a management issue, right? I mean, admittedly, software makes it possible to lie in this situation when you couldn't before.
It wouldn't have been possible at the level it is now, even 10 years ago.
But we've decided to put computers and everything because apparently we don't care about cybercrime, apart from that guy at the back who wants to take them all away. So
the purge starts tonight.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's a software issue to some extent, but it's not like the idea of lying on benchmarks is new or unique to cars, right? Anyone got an NVIDIA graphics card, as an example? Right? They spent years where if you renamed any program to tunnel.exe and then ran it, it would drop 2/3 of the frames, right? This is in no way acceptable, and they've been doing it for years. This is just one more company, and importantly, it's not one more company who are doing it, it's just one more company who've been caught. Hands up anyone who thinks Volkswagen are doing this and every other car company isn't.
Honestly?
Not even the guy at the back.
I don't think most car companies are doing this.
You don't think who?
I don't think most car companies are doing this.
Why don't you think that?
Honestly, I just faith in humanity. I think
that's your reason.
I think
anyone else got any faith in humanity? No, humanity will...
Hang on, you're booing faith in humanity? All right, faith in humanity apart from you fuckers, okay?
Humanity are all bellends apart from the OpenNMS community.
The reason why... the reason why...
So you don't think any other car company will...
No, I didn't say that. What I'm saying, I don't think this is a common problem in the automotive industry. I think this will happen. There is no doubt.
This guy does not agree.
He does not agree. What I'm saying is that I think, look, they were lying and they got caught, and that's the core of the issue here, and that's terrible and it's unacceptable. Twitter wall works. So, I think the thing is that this was flat out lying, and it's unacceptable, and it's bad, and we all agree that it's bad. And there will be corruption in all companies to varying degrees, right? But do I think that the majority of automotive companies are flat out lying and breaking the rules? I don't think that's the case. I think that all of them will be doing some naughty things, from stealing paper clips at the office right up to faking emissions tests.
I'm glad that you think that. I think you are alone in thinking that.
Alarmingly naive.
I believe in people.
Hands up if you agree with Jono that most other car companies aren't doing this and Volkswagen are just particularly bad apples.
and very large boos.
You see, nice people don't want to be humiliated.
Those people who put your hand up, do you own a Volkswagen?
By the way, before we go on, Jelma, who's watching the live stream, asked a question.
We didn't mic the crowd, that's why.
Yeah, he was like, why are the audience so silent? And it's because you're not mic'd up. So I would like to fix his idiotic perspective on the internet. So after 3, as in on 3, right? You've got to make as much noise as you can, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3!
Good effort.
Jelma.
That's for you.
They're not silent.
Yeah.
All right.
After 3, no way, on 3.
All right. I was hoping you would skim over that. All right.
Let's see what Brian thinks about that.
OpenSUSE 1.
No, let's not see what Brian thinks about that.
The 3 OpenSUSE users like that one.
No. That sentence was almost right. All 3 OpenSUSE users like that one.
Can we do one more?
Oh, give me a break. That is a pile of crap.
All right, I'm starting to believe he's actually controlling the brand. Right.
Should we have one more?
Do you have one more question?
One more? Question, anyone? Here we go.
Question from Ronny.
Is that Ronny? Ronny, one of the nicest people we've ever met, by the way.
Question from Ronny.
Yeah.
Yes. Big.
He has kicked a ton of ass the last couple of days.
Ronny has been incredibly helpful to us all week, helping us get set up and fly posters of this show all over Fulda. So his question is presumably going to be, why are you such a bunch of ungrateful bastards? We love you, Ronny. What's your question?
You're in Germany, right? And Germans are really bored by the face of Angela Merkel. How can we get rid of her?
Well, I'd elect the guy at the back president, first of all.
If Americans have made anything clear, it's that we don't know how to get rid of any of the politicians.
I have to say, one of the funniest things I saw, you know how Angela Merkel always stands like this? And there were a whole bunch of pictures of her like this, and then the caption was, super glue, be careful with it. So what you do is you get that and you put that on every poster all over the country, and she's a laughing stock, done, right? I mean, we had to get our guy to have sex with a dead peg to get rid of him. I'm sorry, someone may have done that at some point in the past, right? You know, not waiving my parliamentary privilege to be sued or anything, right? I mean, maybe if you could pull that off, that'd be fantastic. It looks like it's worked brilliantly for us.
Oh, by the way, we forgot we were going to give out our bag of weed to some of the best.
It's not a bag of weed, it's a really cool bad voltage badge.
There's some really cool stuff in there. So we should probably give it to anyone who asked a question.
Yes.
I would say the 2 people that did not win the tablet.
Yes. You take care of that. That sounded complicated.
John O'Bacon, community manager, delegates a job again. Would you like to tweet about it now?
Shut up. Should we move on?
Do you want to have one more question, or should we move on?
We can do one more.
Have we got one more, or we move on?
One more question, anyone? Is that Cornelius?
Right.
This guy is a wicked KDE developer, by the way. It's awesome.
Again.
Shut up. Shut up. You don't like 1,000 buttons on a screen at once?
1,000 clocks on the screen at once. Go.
So this is not about KDE.
It's about the K desktop environment.
To be fair, it's never about KDE.
So because there are actually millions of open source projects out there, and I trust that you have the complete overview. So my question is, what is badly missing? So what would you start if you would be 16 again and would have all the time of the world? So which open source project would you start?
That's a great question.
Actually, a very good question.
Yeah,
damn, that is a good question. Can I have 5 minutes to think about it?
Good desktop environment.
Completely considering the complaining you were doing yesterday, I'm guessing you're going to say something like iMovie for...
Yeah, honestly, for me, it would be a video editor that doesn't crash all of the time.
Because what we need is someone else to start a new movie editor project.
I mean, I appreciate that it's... What was it? Was it Zawinski's law that everything turns into a male client? There's some kind of similar law.
Zawinski's law.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know whether that would be it. I guess we'll all pick one, right? Yeah. Actually, I'm not going to go with that. You start.
No, I was thinking Jeremy would start.
You start.
I genuinely don't. For what I do particularly, I don't think there's anything missing, but I understand that I'm in the minority because I do no design, no anything like that. The areas that people tend to complain about, I don't do that stuff.
Right.
So for me, and I've only used Linux on the desktop for a very long time, I'm not missing anything, honestly.
Honestly, I don't think we need different projects to the ones we've got. We need the ones we've got to work.
Yeah. Except for OpenNMS.
OpenNMS already works. That's perfect, right? But sadly, and I hesitate to confess it in front of you.
The magic is gone.
Lol.
Someone make Jono stop talking.
Right, we will call that karma. Half the problem we've got, I think, is that we keep starting new projects rather than just making the ones we've got work better together and work better generally.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I would agree.
So that's what I think. Jono wants to start a new movie editor.
Let's move on. All right. Oh. Why don't we step back for a second?
Oh, this is my one.
We don't need to be out here.
Right, okay. This is my one. I'll hide the magic, excuse me. So we were talking about open source and the direction we're going in, and what could happen, strategy, and so on and so forth. And we got to talking about risks, right? And the question came up, what do you think is the biggest risk to the future of open source? There are plenty of ideas, you know. People kicking around, the problem is patents, or the problem is proprietary software, or the problem is governments limiting our ability to do things. And I didn't say anything during all of this discussion. They turned to me and said, what's your one? I said, you're not going to like it. And they said, okay, what is it? And I said, honestly, the problem is you, right? Not Jono and Jeremy specifically. The biggest threat to open source is the open source community, right? Hands up, how many of you have seen someone pop up on Reddit or Ask Ubuntu or any kind of questions thing and say, hey, I'm thinking of trying this Linux thing. I'm interested in open source. I'd like to see it happen. I'm thinking of trying this, so I've got hold of an Ubuntu disk or an OpenSUSE disk, and half the comments are, you shouldn't be using that. You should be using Mint. You should be using Fedora. Right? We're too busy eating our own young all the time. It's for a community who we pride ourselves on our ability to collaborate, on our ability to work together. But it turns out that we're way less interested in working together than we are in making sure our little bit of the open source community beats all of its rivals, right? It's more interesting for an Ubuntu guy to knife a Fedora guy than it is to both get together and go, okay, you're using OpenSUSE, great. You've come to open source. You're using OpenNMS rather than some Oracle thing. Closed NMS, right? Great. It doesn't matter that you're not using the network tool that I prefer. You've come to the light side of the force. And we don't do that. And it drives me fucking mental. And we should fucking pack it in. Right?
Here's the thing.
This is,
You're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
This is my faith in people thing.
Wrong. The thing that scares me is he legitimately believes this.
I legitimately do believe it.
So I'm going to give you a good example of why the open source community is not at all the largest risk. It is this right here, right? The open source community, and I will grant you there are a couple bad people in every community, because humans are humans sometimes. But if you look at Ronny or you look at Dustin, people that don't know us, never met us, aren't even fans of the show, have done absolutely everything we could have asked times 10 for no other reason than the open source community kicks ass.
Well, that's just unfair now, because now I either have to go, oh no, I agree.
True.
I either have to say, oh no, I agree,
back.
or I have to say that Ronnie's a shit, and he isn't. He's really nice. Right?
That's what he thinks.
But this is, you can't deny.
You can't point at 1/10 of 1% of the community and say that they
You're judging it. You're judging things on a few bad apples. In the same way that most people in the world don't go around killing people and raping people and all that kind of stuff.
You are
There's a small number of bad people who try to make it miserable for everybody else.
And they're succeeding. People are being turned away from open source every day because they don't show up and go, oh, well, okay, those people saying this, they're just a few bad apples. They go, what, this is complicated. When I decided I thought about using a Mac, no one complained at me for it. So what they do is they just go and buy a Mac.
But there's more
people. It scares people away.
So you would say the Apple community is better?
What?
So you would say the Apple community?
To be part of, yeah, absolutely. Because you go there, someone releases a new piece of software on the Mac, and everyone goes, wow, that's great, how can I get it? A new iOS thing comes out, a new version of iOS comes out, and the question iOS developers always ask is, okay, how can I make best use of the stuff that's come out? They might grouse a little bit about the changes, but what they won't do is go, it's been ruined forever, bastards, and then I'm quitting and I'm going to KDE because GNOME Shell ruined my life.
The thing is...
We do that all the time.
But hang on. The thing is, yes, there are some people who will be turned away by the dickheads in open source. We know some of these people. Yeah. We've talked about these people. But I think there's more people who bump into someone who's into open source. Like Tarus, in my mind, I joke that he is the nicest man in open source, and I think he is, because he spends his money that he's worked hard to earn in helping, for example, to fly out 3 idiots from different parts of the world to come to his conference.
He has.
And he supports open source projects. Everything he does is open source. And it's people like him that bring people to open source. They inspire. He inspires people to come to open source. What you're talking about is a few bad apples. In the same way that you wake up in the morning and you see that 2 planes have flown into the World Trade Center, and you feel pretty shit about that. And it kind of puts you off humanity.
How many of you, do me a favor, put your hands up if you know someone who has basically left the open source community because they got tired of all the bullshit? Yeah. Right? That's not a few bad apples. Or more probably, it is a few bad apples, but they're poisoning the well for everybody to massively mix my metaphor.
How many of you know people who have come to the open source people because they've met cool people?
And I think,
by definition, we win.
John O recently having left open source will definitely agree with this. I think sometimes it takes being part of a different community to realize just how special the open source community really, really is.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, first of all, didn't leave open.
We should probably see what Brian...
See what Brian wants.
What the...
There's the barn again.
Have you... Take it out your pocket.
There is no... It's not... Fuck.
Hang on.
That's alarming.
Brian Lundug, everybody.
That was an appropriate response.
That is terrifying.
Before I begin to absolutely destroy the 3 of you for what has to be the stupidest topic idea you have ever had, let me take this moment to address our friends in Germany. On behalf of all nerds in North America, I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for keeping David Hasselhoff employed all these years. Please wait till I'm finished. I know it could not have been easy. You really took one for the team there, and for that, I will be forever in your debt. Now, to my bird-brained, bad-voltage co-hosts, I don't know whose bright idea it was to have this stupid topic, which is essentially the live chat show version of a clickbait article, in Bad Voltage Live. But it was clearly decided while the 3 of you were drunk and stumbling around the streets of Munich. Also, wrong in 60 seconds? We're doing that again? Who decided that was a good idea to do? You know what? I'm too pissed off at the 3 of you. I'm coming down there.
What? You're doing what? I don't believe you are coming down there.
My wife will be unhappy.
All hail Robo Brian.
What the fuck?
Wow.
Robo Brian's not very fast. Turn around, Robo Brian.
Okay, that's the most worrying thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Robo Brian.
Robo Brian just disconnected me. Robo Brian right now. But if it wasn't disconnected, this would be awesome. Hey, it's reconnected. Yeah! Alright. I'm gonna stand a little taller here because being taller is cooler.
Brian?
Yes, Jono.
Why?
Talk for 2 more seconds and then you're done.
Why are you wearing a little girl's dress?
Am I wearing a little girl's dress?
Yes, you are.
If you guys could please take a picture of me wearing a little girl's dress and post it on Twitter, that would be very helpful for me. I would appreciate that. Now,
nice
if you all give us a little privacy for just a minute, I need to yell at all 3 of my comrades. Stuart, first, you.
Bring it on, fucko.
Open source is essentially people. What a freaking stupid thing to say. Saying people are the greatest threat to open source is like saying the greatest threat to spaghetti is noodles. Technically, it's probably true, but it's freaking stupid. Come on, John. I'm gonna pin it to you. There, I can see your crotch. Your crotch is wiggling on me. Jono, you couldn't make it 5 seconds in the show without saying the word community, could you? 5 seconds, man. I challenge you to answer any question without saying community. Try this one on the site. How many eggs are in a dozen? For spaghetti, you probably say community. Jeremy.
Yes.
Actually, Jeremy, your contributions have been logical and well thought out. I don't have any reason to yell at you now. But if I did, man, I'd let you have it right now, you asshole. All right. If I had a microphone, I'd drop it right now because I'm out of here. Eat my dust. Eat my super fast dust. I'm out. Burning rubber. You know, not even looking behind me, man. Not even looking back. I'm still going.
Really?
I don't know if I really did as fast as I was envisioning it being. And it's not turning. I don't know what it is.
Dude, stop the robot. Brian, stop the robot. Fuck.
Oh, jeez.
Man down.
Fuck me.
Okay.
And the robot lives.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Lundy. Thank you, Brian. It ought to be pointed out, that's what happens when a guy who's just declared his love for open source shows up in a proprietary robot driven by an iPad.
Well, that was weird.
That was
weird.
Anyway, I think we're done, aren't we?
Well, we should say thank you to everyone here.
Thank you for coming, everyone.
Thank you very much for
Give
coming.
yourselves a round of applause.
Thank you for coming.
We have a number of beers to drink.
What?
We have a number of beers to drink. Are we drinking those beers here? Or are we drinking them? Right.
Yeah.
So we have a number of beers to drink. You're welcome to stay, hang with us.
Hey, maybe Dustin, can you stick some music on after the show? We can maybe hang out for a little bit and have a couple
And
of
once again, thanks to Dustin and Ronnie, the rest of the OpenNMS guys, Tarus. You guys have been absolutely awesome.
Thank you to all of the
I want
OpenNMS
a
crowd.
really big round of applause for them. Thank you, Jesse. Dustin in there, our AV guy, has been brilliant, despite having Jono whine at him all day about sound.
I didn't whine at anybody about
He
sound.
has worked harder than the 3 of us put together.
Yeah, he did.
He has.
Which-
So, we're going to have a few drinks. Stay with us, have a few drinks, and then we're going to Dieck in town, which is a quite terrible pub, but it's actually really good. So,
all right. Thank you, everyone.
So, thank you very much. We've
Good
been
night.
Bad Voltage. You've been Fulda. Good night.